The next project to look at is the Ladybird. As before, I have a pot of slip, which is just a mix of clay and water, and it is a mix of the clay that I'm actually using because it needs to be the same type of clay. I also have the same tools. So I have a lollipop stick, I have a tongue depressor, a cocktail stick, and 2 different length bamboo sticks. This is the model that I've made that's going to dry and will then be painted, and I'm going to show you how I did it. And if I turn it over, you can see that it's hollow inside. So what we're going to be making today is a pinch pot. Now I know that I won't need quite that much, so I'm going to take a little bit off. And what I'm going to start by doing is just rolling it in my hand to create, now not actually a sphere that is perfectly round, but a sphere that is slightly oval in shape, and that's because our ladybird is not round like the sun. Our ladybird is oval in shape as well. And then I'm going to put all of my thumb in. Again, if I were making a round pinch pot, I would be putting my thumb in like this, but I'm actually putting it in this way, and I'm just going to push down hard to create a thumb depression there. And then what I'm going to do is turn it round, and I'm going to do that again on the other side. Now the reason I've done that is because it creates this even depression now. It looks a little bit like a throat sweet, a lozenge, you can see there. And see how thick this is. I haven't allowed this to go thin. It's nice and thick. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push out with my thumb a little bit, turn it round, push again. Now what that's going to help me to do is to create an even pinch pot that is oval in shape. And once I've got it, this is why it's called a pinch pot, because when I've got it how I want it, you can see there inside, I can begin to pinch the sides. But the trick to this is to keep your sides even and don't let them get thin. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the lollipop stick. I'm going to turn it on its side, and I'm just going to flatten the bottom. The reason I'm going to do this is because it will help it to stand up if the bottom is nice and flat. So there is my oval pinch pot. You can see the oval shape there, and you can see that I've tried to keep it really even as best I can all the way around, and that's what I want you to aim for. I've now got my basic ladybird shape. It's a bit dry there, so I am just going to wet my fingers, and I'm going to very gently, but only a tiny drop of water, just run that over the top so that it doesn't crack, and just smooth that over to how I want it to be. All right, there we go. Now I want to create the ladybird shape a little bit more, so I'm just going to just narrow it down a tiny bit there. Just going to dry that off because my clay's sticking to it. That's better. And I'm going to use the short bamboo stick for this. So I'm going to hold it in my hand, and I'm going to create this line here. And I want it to go from this side over to this side, but I'm not going to use the point to start with. I'm actually going to use the side, and I'm just going to bring it up and round and down, and I'm pulling away from myself. We want to create a V shape here, and then the line that will come down the middle. So I'm just going to use my bamboo stick again, and this time I'm just rolling it slightly to create that V shape. I'm just going to move it there just to get rid of that bit where I went over. So I put it like this, and I just rolled it a bit, and put it there and just rolled it a bit. And then of course I'm going to do this bit here, and I'm just going to bring it down. Okay, and then last of all, this is a bit tricky. I want to do the eyes on the front, so they're at either side here, like most insect eyes, not at the front but on the side of the head. and I'm going to use my bamboo stick to draw 2 circles. Now this time I will have to carefully use the point, just ever so lightly, just to draw where I think they should go. And then I'm going to allow that to go in just a little bit deeper, and I'm going to smooth off the edges. Now I want to get this one in the same place on this side, so if that's my middle line, I think, and I've turned it up so that I can look carefully, and I also want it to be about the same size. So, oh dear. If you go over it, doesn't matter, you can, as long as you're not going in too deeply, you can just smooth it over again. Remember to keep wiping the end of your bamboo stick, because that will make a real difference, and brush off any odd bits of clay that have come up as you've cut in. So I'm quite happy with that. There is my second ladybird to be a friend to my first ladybird, and they're slightly different, and that's one of the things that I like about them. And again, when we paint them, we'll be able to paint different patterns on them, but I'm going to wait until I actually do that with the paint rather than trying to do it with the bamboo stick, which is a bit tricky. And that's how you make a ladybird.